It's one of the most feared prisons in Mexico and houses some of the most dangerous cartel leaders on earth, from the notorious Hector Luis Palma Salazar to the founder of the modern-day Mexican drug trade, Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo. We look at the top 10 most dangerous inmates imprisoned inside Mexico's Altiplano La Palma prison. If you enjoy these longer form videos, then please remember to smash the like button to help this video rise in the YouTube algorithm. We have many more videos just like this one scheduled for the rest of the year. Number 10. Haime Gonzalez Duran. Former Mexican Army elite soldier Duran became a founding member and third in command of the notorious Los Zetas cartel. He served in the Grupo Aeromóvil de Fuerzas Especiales before deserting in the late 1990s to join the Gulf cartel, where he helped establish Los Zetas as its armed wing. As a high-ranking leader, Gonzalez Duran oversaw cartel operations across multiple Mexican states, including Reynosa, Miguel Alemán, and Nuevo Laredo. He was responsible for large-scale drug trafficking activities, importing nearly 1,000 pounds of cocaine and approximately 200,000 pounds of marijuana into the United States. He was arrested in 2008 in Reynosa, Tamaulipas, and later pleaded guilty to conspiracy to manufacture and distribute cocaine and marijuana for unlawful importation into the US. He faces a mandatory minimum sentence of 10 years and a maximum of life imprisonment, with sentencing scheduled for June 6, 2025, while awaiting his fate at Altiplano. Number 9. Jose Antonio Yepz Ortiz. Known as El Marro, the Sledgehammer, Ortiz once led the Santa Rosa de Lima cartel, a group notorious for fuel theft and violent turf wars in Guanajuato. Yepz Ortiz began his criminal activities in the early 2000s, initially engaging in drug trafficking and vehicle theft, but rose to prominence as the leader of the Santa Rosa de Lima cartel, which specialized in siphoning gasoline from government pipelines, a practice known as huachicol. Under his leadership, the cartel expanded into extortion and drug trafficking, often clashing violently with the rival Jalisco New Generation cartel. On August 2, 2020, Yepz Ortiz was captured by Mexican authorities in Juventino Rosas, Guanajuato, during a raid that also freed a kidnapped businesswoman. He was subsequently sentenced to 60 years in prison for aggravated kidnapping and is currently incarcerated at the maximum security Altiplano prison. He faces additional charges including homicide, fuel theft, and organized crime, with his arrest marking a significant victory for Mexican law enforcement in their efforts to combat organized crime. Number 8. Abigail Gonzalez Valencia. Another prominent Mexican drug trafficker and a key figure in the Jalisco New Generation cartel, Valencia is the brother-in-law of Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, alias El Mencho. Gonzalez Valencia began his criminal activities in the 1990s with the Milenio cartel and later co-founded Los Quenis, the financial arm of the cartel, managing international drug trafficking operations across the Americas, Europe and Asia. He was instrumental in overseeing the cartel's financial operations, including money laundering and arms trafficking. On February 28, 2015, Gonzalez Valencia was arrested in Puerto Vallarta, Jalisco, during a joint operation by Mexican authorities. At the time of his arrest, he was found with a grenade, cocaine, multiple cell phones, and fake IDs. Yet, he reportedly offered a bribe of 50 million Mexican dollars to avoid media exposure, which was declined. Following his arrest, he was detained at the Altiplano facility, but over the years, he was transferred between various prisons due to security concerns and alleged escape escape plans. In July 2019, he was moved back to Altiplano after reports surfaced of a cartel plot to facilitate his escape. The US government has sought Gonzalez Valencia's extradition on charges of drug trafficking and money laundering, yet this had been delayed by the Mexican court system. Number 7. Oiel Cardenas, Guillen. Initially working as a car mechanic, he entered the criminal world in the 1990s, eventually rising to power by eliminating rivals and consolidating control over the Gulf Cartel, becoming its most powerful and feared leader. In 1999, he gained international infamy by threatening 2 US federal agents at gunpoint in Matamoros, an act that intensified efforts to apprehend him. In 2003, Cardenas Guillen was captured by the Mexican army in Matamoros. Despite his incarceration, he continued to exert influence over the Gulf Cartel from prison. In 2007, he was extradited to the United States, where he faced multiple charges, including drug trafficking, money laundering, and threatening federal agents. In 2010, he pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 25 years in prison, along with a $100,000 fine and a $50 million forfeiture order. After serving approximately 14 years of his sentence, Cardenas Guillen was released from US custody in August 2024 and deported to Mexico. Upon arrival, he was immediately rearrested and is currently held in the maximum security Altiplano prison. He faces multiple charges in Mexico, including organized crime, drug trafficking, and money laundering, with prosecutors seeking sentences that could total over 700 years. He is also thought to be responsible for the formation of Los Zetas, an armed wing of the Gulf Cartel. Number 6. Fernando Gomez Martinez, a former Mexican schoolteacher who became a prominent drug lord and leader of the Knights Templar cartel, a criminal organization based in Michoacan. Martinez gained the nickname La Tuta, or the Teacher. In the early 2000s, he joined La Familia Michoacana, a criminal group known for blending criminal activities with pseudo-religious ideology. Following internal divisions and the reported death of leader Nazario Moreno Gonzalez in 2010, Gomez Martinez co-founded the Knights Templar cartel, positioning himself as its leader and public spokesman. Under Gomez Martinez's leadership, the Knights Templar cartel expanded its operations beyond drug trafficking to include extortion, kidnapping, and illegal mining. The group was notorious for its use of religious symbolism and propaganda to justify its actions and maintain control over local populations. Gomez Martinez often appeared in videos and interviews, presenting himself as a defender of the people while orchestrating violent campaigns against rivals and authorities. After years on the run, Gomez Martinez was captured by Mexican federal police on February 27, 2015, in Morelia, Michoacan, with his arrest being considered a significant blow to the Knights Templar cartel. Following his capture, he was convicted of multiple crimes, including organized crime, drug trafficking, and kidnapping, while in 2019 he received a 55-year sentence for the kidnapping of a businessman in 2011. In 2022, he was sentenced to an additional 47 years and 6 months for leading an organized criminal group and crimes against health, and currently resides in Altiplano. Number 5. Dionio Plankarte, former high-ranking leader of the Knights Templar cartel. Plankarte is the uncle of Enrique Plankarte Solis, another former cartel leader. Lawyer Plankarte began his criminal activities in the 1980s with La Empresa, a precursor to La Familia Michoacana. By 2006, he became a founding member of La Familia Michoacana, a cartel that combined criminal operations with pseudo-religious ideology. Following internal divisions and the reported death of leader Nazario Moreno Gonzalez in 2010, lawyer Plankarte co-founded the Knights Templar cartel in 2011 alongside Fernando Gomez Martinez and Enrique Plankarte Solis. As a senior figure in both organizations, lawyer Plankarte managed narcotics procurement, oversaw financial financial operations and served as the cartel's spokesperson. The Knights Templar cartel was notorious for its involvement in drug trafficking, extortion, kidnapping, and illegal mining, often justifying its actions through a self-styled moral and religious code. At the time of his capture on January 27, 2014, he was listed among Mexico's 37 most wanted drug lords, with a bounty of approximately $2.3 million for information leading to his capture. Following his arrest, lawyer Plankarte was incarcerated at Altiplano, but details regarding his trial and sentencing have not been publicly disclosed due to security concerns. Number 4. Luis Fernando Sanchez Ariano. Former leader of the Tijuana cartel, Ariano was in control of the organization from the mid-2000s and gained the nickname El Ingeniero, the engineer. Born around 1977, he is the son of Enedina Arellano Felix, sister of the cartel's founding brothers. Following the arrests and deaths of his uncles, Sanchez Arellano assumed control, maintaining the cartel's operations in drug trafficking, extortion, and violence in Baja California. On June 23, 2014, Mexican military forces arrested Sanchez Arellano in Tijuana while he was watching a World Cup match. He was sentenced to 22 years in prison for organized crime and drug trafficking. Number 3. Eduardo Arellano Felix. Known by the nickname El Doctor due to his background in medicine, Arellano Felix was a key figure in the Tijuana cartel and one of several siblings who played significant roles in the cartel's operations. As the cartel's financial mastermind, Eduardo managed money laundering operations and oversaw the allocation of funds for bribery, arms purchases, and other illicit activities. He was instrumental in laundering hundreds of millions of dollars in drug trafficking proceeds, which were used to finance the cartel's operations, including paying members to commit crimes, purchasing firearms and ammunition, and bribing officials. On October 26, 2008, Eduardo was captured by Mexican authorities in Tijuana during a shootout. He was extradited to the United States on August 31, 2012, to face charges of money laundering and drug trafficking. In August 2013, Eduardo pleaded guilty to conspiracy to launder money and was sentenced to 15 years in US federal prison. He also agreed to forfeit up to $50 million in assets obtained through illegal drug trafficking. After serving approximately 8 years, Eduardo was released from US custody in August 2021 and deported to Mexico. Upon arrival, he was immediately rearrested by Mexican authorities and is currently held at the maximum security Altiplano prison in Almoloya de Juarez, facing charges related to organized crime and drug trafficking. Number 2. Hector Luis Palma Salazar. One of the founding members of the Sinaloa cartel, Salazar began his criminal career as a car thief and later became a hitman for Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo's Guadalajara cartel. Salazar eventually co-founded the Sinaloa cartel alongside Joaquin El Chapo Guzman and Ismael El Mayo Zambada. In 1995, Palma was arrested in Mexico after surviving a plane crash. He was convicted of weapons violations and sentenced to 6 years in prison. In 2007, he was extradited to the United States, where he served 9 years for drug trafficking offences. Upon his release in 2016, Palma was deported back to Mexico and incarcerated at the Altiplano prison. Although a judge ordered his release in 2023 due to insufficient evidence on organised crime charges, Mexican prosecutors issued a new arrest warrant for qualified homicide, keeping him imprisoned. As of May 2025, Palma remains incarcerated at the Altiplano prison. Number 1. Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo. Felix Gallardo began his career as a police officer in Sinaloa, where he developed connections with influential figures, including politicians and law enforcement officials. Leveraging these relationships, he entered the drug trade, initially working with Pedro Aviles Perez, a pioneer in Mexican drug trafficking. After Aviles' death in 1978, Felix Gallardo consolidated various drug trafficking operations to form the Guadalajara cartel, alongside Rafael Caro Quintero and Ernesto Fonseca Carrillo, known as El Padrino, the Godfather, and El Jefe de Jefes, the boss of bosses. He co-founded the Guadalajara cartel in the 1980s, which became one of the most powerful drug trafficking organizations in Mexico. The cartel controlled much of the drug trafficking in Mexico and along the US border during the 1980s, collaborating with Colombian cartels to transport cocaine into the United States. One of their notable operations included the Rancho Bufalo marijuana plantation, which reportedly produced up to $8 billion in production annually. In 1985, the cartel's involvement in the kidnapping, torture, and murder of US DEA agent Enrique Kiki Camarena led to increased pressure from US and Mexican authorities. Felix Gallardo was arrested on April 8, 1989, and later convicted of drug trafficking and Camarena's murder, receiving a 37-year prison sentence. While incarcerated, he initially continued to influence drug trafficking operations. However, over time, his health deteriorated, and he became less of a problem inmate within the system. Felix Gallardo's legacy includes the fragmentation of the Guadalajara cartel into various successor organizations, such as the Sinaloa, Tijuana, and Juarez cartels, which have continued to influence drug trafficking dynamics in Mexico. Thanks for watching. For more true crime videos, you can check out the playlist on this screen, another true crime video, and subscribe to the channel for more videos publishing every Saturday.